They managed to escape before the priest could summon a ray of lightning to turn them all into pillars of salt, but from the threshold they could hear his dreadful voice of offended archangel. "Possessed! She's possessed by the devil!" These words of Father Restrepo were etched in the family memory with all the gravity of a diagnosis, and in the years to come they had more than one occasion to recall them. The only one who never thought of them again was Clara herself, who simply wrote them in her diary and forgot them. Her parents, however, could not forget, even though they both agreed that demonic possession was a sin too great for such a tiny child. They were afraid of other people's curses and Father Restrepo's fanaticism. Until that day, they had never given a name to the eccentricities of their youngest daughter, nor had it ever crossed their minds to ascribe them to satanic influence. Clara'S strangeness was simply an attribute of their youngest daughter, like Lewis's limp or Rosa's beauty. The child's mental powers bothered no one and produced no great disorder. They almost always surfaced in matters of minor importance and within the strict confines of their home. It was true, there had been times, just as they were about to sit down to dinner and everyone was in the large dining room, seated according to dignity and position, when the salt cellar would suddenly begin to snake and move among the plates and goblets without any visible source of energy or sign of illusionist's trick. Nivea would pull Clara'S braids, and that would be enough to wake her daughter from her mad distraction and return the salt cellar to immobility. The other children had organised a system so that, in case of visitors, whoever was closest would reach out and stop whatever might be moving on the table before the guests noticed and were startled. The family continued eating without comment. They had also grown accustomed to the youngest daughter's prophecies. She would announce earthquakes in advance, which was quite useful in that country of catastrophes, for it gave them a chance to lock up the good dishes and place their slippers within reach in case they had to run out in the middle of the night. At the age of 6, Clara had foreseen that the horse was going to throw Lewis, but he refused to listen and had had a dislocated hip ever since. In time, his left leg had shortened, and he had to wear a special shoe with an enormous platform that he had made himself. After that, Nivea had worried, but Nana reassured her by telling her that many children fly like birds, guess other people's dreams, and speak with ghosts, but that they all outgrow it when they lose their innocence. "None of them reach adulthood like that," she explained. "Wait till she starts to demonstrate. You'll see how fast she loses interest in making furniture move across the room and predicting disasters." Clara was Nana's pet. She had helped at her birth and was the only one who really understood the child's eccentricities. When Clara had emerged from her mother's womb, Nana had cradled and washed her, and from that time on she had felt a desperate love for this fragile creature whose lungs were always full of phlegm, who was always on the verge of losing her breath and turning purple, and whom she had had to revive so many times with the warmth of her huge breasts, because she knew that this was the only cure for asthma, much more effective than Dr. Cuver's fortified syrups. On that particular Holy Thursday, Severo was pacing up and down the drawing-room, worrying about the scandal his daughter had provoked at Mass. He reasoned that only a fanatic like Father Restrepo could believe in satanic possession in the heart of the 20th century, this century of light, science and technology, a time in which the devil had finally lost his reputation. Nivea interrupted him to say that was not the point. The seriousness of what had happened was that if word of their daughter's powers reached beyond the walls of the house and the priest began his own investigation, all the neighbours would find out.